right. Seems like it's working. Looks like it's doing very well. Let's make sure it's okay. It's live. Just need the chat. Where's the chat? Hang on. Just give me a second, guys. That's the problem with streams, is that, especially if you're kind of new to it, it's hard to do an interesting introduction. Oh, good. It seems like it's working fine. I'll just get the chat out. And I'll just quickly close the doors. Whoa. Okay, this is appropriate for. Hang on a second. Okay, this is appropriate for. Okay, there we go. That might have been appropriate for a Lovecraftian game, but I'm guessing you guys didn't want to hear me double up on my voice all the time. That might have been appropriate for a Lovecraftian game, but I'm guessing you guys didn't want to hear me double up. So pop out the chat. Much better. Get this down. Everything seems okay. Let me quickly tweet out the stream. I really should have done that first. Kind of an idiot. Mind you, no one really cares what happens to begin with in the stream anyway. Hold on. There we go. That's what I actually quite like about the PS4 one, is that it's a lot more streamlined. Streamlined. All right, I think that's about it. All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Q&A stream. Today it's 2 days later than I normally do it, but at least I'm doing it, so that's what matters and that's what counts. Today, I think, because I'm not actually at my house, so I can't do anything on the PS4, which is my preferred streaming platform at the moment, I'm playing a bit of, I'm at my parents' house at the moment, because I'm house sitting for them, and so, in that case, I thought I'd just play a few old computer games that I used to play back in the day. Yo, hello, we're getting some people in the chat, so that's great. I won't really engage with you, just a fair warning, won't really engage with you guys until I've finished doing the Patron Q&A, but until then, let me just pull them up. I found that I'm better at doing Q&A when I've got something that I can kind of go into a trance over, one of those games where you can just kind of focus. And I found that They Bleed Pixels, it's one of my favorite indie games, because it really got me into sort of the indie scene and stuff back in the day. Just has gorgeous pixel art. I'll show you guys later, but it's one of those kind of like what's the word? Nightmare platformers, almost literally in this case. But it has some really good differentiation and some absolutely gorgeous pixel art and music. All right, nearly there. Alright, and okay, we are up. So let's begin. Dang it. Oh wait, need to actually go into it, silly. Load up all the comments, not just some of the comments. Well, not all of the questions, not just some of the questions. Hang on, there's a bit of a loud noise coming from the other room. I'll just close the door. And there we go. All right. came way back in the day. Let's try this out. Select difficulty. Standard. Higher difficulty and longer levels for all players well versed in the art of stabbing and jumping. Well, I did play this a lot back in the day. And the final level is only unlockable in this difficulty. So I probably have to then. Let's see. The upkick, aerial stabbing, all the tutorials. Might just do a quick one here. On Kicking and Stabbing, a young lady's guide to the fighting arts, with a short digression into the occult usage of save sigils. Ah, so push to the side and tab 2. Ah, so much blood. And pixels. I need to push this one. That's jump. What the flip? Okay, I need to switch stuff around big time. Oh, okay. Hang on, this is completely different from the old ones. Oh, darn it. Okay, there we go. Stabbing is functional, but won't get you combo points for style. Avoid button mashing, there are more effective ways of killing. Stand still and tap 2. I see. Now you try it. I see, so if you stand still, it gives them like a comically over-the-top death move. It's beautiful. Kicks won't do damage, but are great for breaking through enemies that block. Stand still and hold 2. Okay, so if you tap it, then it goes that way, but if you hold it, it goes up. Very nice. Kicking takes time, but sets you up for moves with large combo multipliers. Ah, yes. Jump. Okay, don't tap it, hold it for some reason. I see, yeah, I get it. I'm usually pretty good at this, so the only reason is that for some reason the button bindings are switched around. And I don't even have a pause button, so I'm going to have to go through the entire tutorial with the wrong buttons. Ah, beautiful dash. Alright, well, while I'm going through the tutorial, I'll do one of the questions to begin with. We got Will Herman to begin with. Pokemon regions have been based on real-world areas, like Unova being based in New York City, Kalos being based in France, and Alola being based in Hawaii. So what region of the world would you like to see in a future game? Yeah, because the 3 original were based in different regions of Japan, but then they started to go international after once Unova came around. Well, I'd obviously like to say New Zealand, but yeah, bad form. So this okay. Very good. Okay, that's the distance you have to be. Very good. I would say I'd either like to see China, which would be really cool, just for all the different possibilities. I remember seeing Jay Witt's episode where he did like mega evolutions he would like to see. One of them was this really cool mega evolution for Arcanine, which looked like kind of those Chinese lions. Ah, yeah, so dodge and dash, gotcha. Yeah. Ow. So I have to do it twice. This is not the way I want to jump. I need to get this right. There we go. Attack while ducking to hit low, duck to slide. Now this is the cool part, is that you get collectibles throughout the entire level, and once you fill up the meter, then you can create a save point, and you can make a save point wherever you want. Which I always thought was really cool. High combos will fill your sigil meter faster. Sigils can be created on moving or slippery surfaces. Stand still without cast. Exit a level midway, your progress will be up to the last checkpoint will be saved. Alright, anyway. Now back. Options. Custom controls, please. Okay. Okay, movement, L stick, camera, right stick, that's fine. Now, attack and jump are swapped around. Attack, please. Jump, please. Alright. Anyway, so yeah, probably China, but just because of the really interesting ideas. I would like to say New Zealand, but unfortunately, because most of our most of our culture is mainly Pacific Island, I just really want a Kiwi Pokemon, okay? Like an actual Kiwi that is the bird Pokemon, not yeah. I always say that. Oh, hang on, I just love the pixel art here. Don't know why, but this is just kind of like the perfect level of pixelization for pixel art for me. It's the one that kind of takes me back and gives me that kind of nostalgia for it. Oh, a bleeding book? What's that bleeding book doing there? Oops. Oh dear, now I have book blood on me. Oh, that's a thing. My visions faded, and I saw again only the evil moonlight, the brooding desert, and the spreading tumulus of Pelagian masonry. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love... okay, it's got a double thing. There we go. Eldritch. Wait. I don't know, I think this is a better tutorial, to be honest. Like once I'm working it. Nice. So yeah, I would definitely say China. Although at the same time, I would really like to see some more European stuff. I'd like to see like a werewolf Pokemon, or although that's kind of what the Lunar Lycanroc is. Please excuse my It's like because the European countries have some amazing architecture, and it really seems like Pokemon's really kind of leaning on the whole architecture thing lately. They just love showing off cool and nice places to go, which is cool because Pokemon's meant to be an adventure. Oh dang it! Oops. Bye bye. Oh. Bye bye. Whoopee. Woo! Yeah, that's the one thing I like about this game, is that it's the most adorable little Lovecraftian horror I've ever seen. No offense, Smarty with his little Thulu. Let's do a save point here. Whoop! Slippery as hell. So, yeah. Problem is, I can't. It's kind of insensitive to say just, you know, Europe. Though you know what, Africa, for being such an enormous continent, doesn't get much representation in like visual styles for games, except for maybe nope. I mean, like the most kind of African sort of visual representation I've really seen in a lot of games lately mainly comes from Overwatch. So yeah, it would be really nice to see some more like African stuff, but you know, they'd have to get a really good research team. Let's just say that. Woohoo! Bye bye. All right. So the next question would be. So yes, to answer your question in order, probably China, then Eastern Europe, then Africa. Though Russia would be good too. You know what? Just anywhere in the entire world. Let's just say that. All right. Oh man, I just hate butt sauce. think this is a good place for a save. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Eldridge. Trey says, Trey McGowan says, what pets do you have, or have recently had? Or if none, any pets that you're planning on getting, or is a son more than enough of a handful? A son is more than enough of a handful, but I have had a few pets in the past. My wife is an absolutely huge bird lover, so we've had a couple of birds in the past. Unfortunately, they both have gone. Not dead, they just escaped. So hopefully they're having a good life somewhere. Okay, tap to... Ow, not good. I don't know, there's something about just like unbelievably over the top blood that's kind of good. Oh man, I forgot to get the page. Ow. Whoa, that's not good. That's not fun. So let's see, here we go. Okay, so I've had, so the birds that we did have were, dang, nabbit, I just fell into pieces here. We had I need to get the names right, or Jess will kill me. So we had two cockatiels. Yes, we had a grey one called Gideon. I can't remember, I just like the name Gideon Grey. And it wasn't a reference to Scott Pilgrim, because that's Gideon Graves. I just like that. I like the idea of Gideon the Grave. Dang it. Yeah, I prefer that she dissipate rather than get impaled on the spikes. That's not a good look. And the white one we named Mr. White because he looked angry all the time, just like well, even though Mr. I mean, I know that Mr. White in Reservoir Dogs wasn't exactly, what's the word? He wasn't a picture of boundless rage, but he did always kind of look angry. He had that kind of look on his face. Now, oh, you can slide. Cool. No, well, looks like I saved. Before that, we actually had a little kitten named Raiko because he had these cool sort of patterns all along. He was one of those grey cats with white patches, but the grey had stripes on it, and it looked like those little little thunderclouds, so we called him Raiko. Fortunately, he got run over, so that sucks. The trying to think what else, what other pets I've had. Absolutely no relation, but I had a cat named Jess before I met my wife. Except he was a guy. He was named Jess after Postman Pat's cat. The reason why we gave him that name actually was because he was a bit kind of hyperactive, and we inherited him from a different family, and they called him Spaz. And because my brother is autistic, having him kind of talking about spazzing out all the time probably wouldn't have been a good look, so we just changed the name to Jess after Postman Pat's cat, because my brother loved Postman Pat. Oh, there we go, I'm starting to get into the groove of it. Dang it. As soon as I say that, I take another hit. There we go, there we go, there we go. Dang it! I flew too close to the sun. I was going to save right after that. So yeah, there was Jess, there was... the very first pet I ever had was a gecko that I named Max. If I had known about Wall Street at the time, I probably would have called him Gordon, but... well, heck, if I got a gecko nowadays, I'd probably have called him... probably would have called her Vanessa, but anyway. That was my very first pet. Then it was Jess, then the 2 birds, and then we actually had, I don't know if you count them as pets, because we kind of actually farmed them a little bit. Well, not farmed, but they earned their keep more than you would expect a pet to, because... Yay, juggles! We actually had a set of 5, I think, quail. They were Japanese quails. They were really cool, and they gave us quail's eggs, which were really tasty. Our favorite thing to do was to get it cut, toast into quarters, and make tiny little fried eggs that you put on them. It was really, really cute and awesome. Well, that will teach me to dive into things. Next was, dang it! Let's see. This is kind of showing the, I find that a lot of YouTube creators that are really nice and, I'm not kind of, don't want to sound full of myself saying like I'm a nice guy, but a lot of the producers like Peanut Butter Gamer and stuff like that are, you know, really sort of family friendly and nice, are usually the ones that like the really dark horror stuff. Like for instance, Peanut Butter Gamer just absolutely loves Amnesia and Darkseid and all that kind of stuff. Oh, dang nabbit! Someone else. Okay, Andrew Welsh says, you get home, and as you walk into your dwelling, you see another you going about your day. How would you react, and how would you prove who is the real you? Let's see, what would I do? What I would do probably... Okay, this is all laboring under the assumption that... There we go. Yeah. Right off the bat, let me say this is all laboring off the assumption that I don't have a panic attack, curl up on the floor, and then just whatever happens. I think I'd be able to keep control of my sanity. So let's think about it for a second. I would probably grab some kind of weapon, not for actually like hurting the doppelganger. I would probably have it more as kind of an intimidation, because I have absolutely no idea if this person would freak out or would attack me. I have no idea what this person's deal is. So and because he's going about my daily life, I know it wasn't a robbery or anything like that. Ow. There we go. Noisome. That's adorable. Am I flying too close to the sun again? Let's find out. Control is so tight. Okay, we're good. There we go. So anyway, I'd have a weapon. Kaboom. Kaboom. Probably that sword I have actually is the closest thing I have to something. I love that noise. Whee! Yeah. Very nice. Because that sword is pretty much the only large blunt object I have around in the house. So even though it looked like such a weave and it looked like such one of those cringe videos, probably grab the sword and I'd talk over what on earth's going on with him. I mean, he'd probably be as freaked out as I was. That's it. So how would we prove who is the real person? I would honestly say that's the thing, is that I've been playing a... How am I meant to grab that? Anyway. I mean, I've been playing a few of those kind of like transhumanist games, like Shadowrun and oh, I see what the deal is. Like Shadowrun and Soma and stuff like that. And to be honest, it doesn't matter. We're both equally real. Because I mean, you know, unless he's following like a rote pattern or something like that. But if you say that he's acting like me in the, oh dang it, I guess I'll have to take this guy out to be with. There we go. I mean, like, what gives me the right to say that he doesn't have a life just because he came into it in an unusual manner? And heck, how am I to know, like, you know, like so many of these things, how am I on earth to know whether I'm the real person or not? I mean, if you upload your consciousness to a computer and you have all the same memories, your memories make up who you are. Hooray! I got to the end. Common Cthulhu. Oh. Oh, wait, look out behind you. Oh! Oh dear, you go to bed and you wake up with purple hands. Oh, this book did this to me. Now, I found this quite a cute detail. Just watch this. Daytime. Take the book. Got to do the both. I like how she's being proactive about it, not just... she's just like, nope, don't like this. I'm burying it deep in the dirt. Bye-bye. Then it's, oh no, it come back. But here's the thing, it's like it actually takes you to a disturbed sort of nightmare version of where you buried it, where she buried the book. See, this one's in the earth. Stand upright on your legs a while, stand upright while you can, for as soon as we lie where he is laid, and he is underground. William Butler Yeats. Oh, I see. Haha. What's that? Oh, that's not fun. Boink, boink. Hang it. Gotta stand still in order to kick him. It's a weird thing. But should be good. Alright, so... yeah, so to me it absolutely would not matter which one is the real you. What would matter is how we would go about these things. Basically, I think we'd probably just do like... I mean, don't get me wrong, this would be heartbreaking or something, but would basically, what we would have to do is just flip a coin as to which one gets the life that we currently have, and which one just has to kind of break free and start a new life. I mean, to be honest, like knowing that my loved ones are okay, but also having the chance to start fresh and new, there's a kind of sense of adventure to that. I mean, it would be very sad leaving my old life. It would be very sad leaving my old life behind. But like knowing that they would literally still have me, that would be good. And you know, if I got the other side of the coin toss, I get to stay with my family and keep the life that I currently still actually really like. I mean, there are problems and stuff like that, but I don't want to give it up. So honestly, I would be fine with both sides of the coin toss, or not fine. I mean, both sides would kind of be sad, but I would be fine with both sides. So yeah. However, I would also like to get to the bottom of what the heck's going on, if at all possible. So yeah, I'd have to do like kind of a mystery style plot of figuring it out. Hang on a second. That's okay. Well, anyway, let's see. So that was my answer. Kim Hoke says, has anyone ever told you look like Carrie Elwes from The Princess Bride? No, that one's not very common. I have heard Hugh Grant back in the day, but that one was a long time ago. That's mainly when I don't have the goatee, because Hugh Grant obviously doesn't have a goatee. You know, one of the funny things that I look the most like, at least in terms of facial hair, is Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs. I always found that kind of funny. I'm trying to... Ow, dang it. I think the reason why people thought that I looked like Hugh Grant was probably the fact that I have that kind of... Wow, that was awesome. That kind of flustered nice guy. I mean, like, not nice guy as we know it in terms of, like, the insult, but, like, you know, actual sort of flustered, charming person that he kind of... Wow! That is a spectacular area. So much blood and no gore. That's kind of the way I like it. It doesn't get old. I am, just so you guys know, I'm definitely just getting, I just have a dark sensitivity. It's not that I would actually like to see this much blood in real life. Heck, I nearly reached taking out the garbage last night, so I don't think it would actually be the case. Anyway. Oh, and this is all, oh, by the way, just one more thing about that last one. Is that, about that last question, this is all on the assumption that I actually, that the other me doesn't attack me on sight. But if he really was another me and he was actually just going about his business, I feel like he would be pretty benign. If someone wanted to clone someone else for, like, battle purposes, I don't think they would have chosen me, that's for sure. Anyway, sorry, that one took a long time, so yeah, Carrie always, yeah, for some reason Hugh Grant. And are there any other people that people say I look or sound like? No, that's about it, actually. Just like the facial hair, I look like Mr. Pink. Yeah, so, no, I haven't heard Carrie Elvis, which is fine. I like Carrie Elvis a lot, even if he was kind of... Dang it. Hey, I was able to get them at least. Out with a bomb like Junkrat. Alright. Someone says, Super Bunny Bun says, I haven't seen you use the sword for a long time. Can I have it? Tell you what, you can have it if I can find a better one, but it's just a really, really good prop sword. It's not a real sword, it's one of those blunt ones, but it's a really nice blunt one that's really shiny. It's got that kind of stainless steel look to it. Dang it. The reason why I got it is just because I wanted to have a kind of... wanted to have an anime sensibility. Katanas didn't have kind of the stigma that they currently do. And I just wanted to kind of get this idea of that I'd evolved, like it was a new Suede coming out. That's why I had the new outfit and the new outfit and the new Suede waistcoat and the new jacket. And I thought, you know what? And because everybody saw me in because everyone saw me in Suburban Nights with a sword, I thought that would be kind of a nice continuation. The sword that I have is not the prop sword that I have is not the same as the sword that was used in Suburban Nights. That one was actually Bargov's sword. It was a replica. Okay, puzzle here. Dang it! Can I dash in midair? I think I can. Oh, you can only dash when there are enemies nearby. Okay. I can do that. Funny thing is they don't go down either, it's tricky. So yeah, that was the thing on my sword. The funny thing is that my father-in-law actually has a real katana from World War II, and I would absolutely have loved that. I mean, like, I'm not like one of those weebs where it's like I must collect katana swords, but like an actual katana from World War II just takes all of my nerd buttons in a non-creepy way. It's just really cool. But yeah, I'm probably not going to bring the sword back because it's just a little bit too. It's just got a bit too much of a stigma. It's a bit too cringy for kind of the weeb edgelords. Oh my goodness! All right, so I can jump over them. I just need to. Problem is that I get knocked back Castlevania style. Gally Elson says, I don't know if you talked about this already, but what are your thoughts on Digimon? Digimon... Oh. Okay, first of all, let me say that... Oh, flippin' double jump. Haha! Whee! Let's go a little bit further before the save point. Oh, jeez, I'm flying close to the sun. But I did it! Hooray! Yeah. There we go. Upsy daisy. Necrotic. There we go. Hang on. Oh, it's one of those cute little baby octopi. They're adorable, even if they do this horrible dashy thing. Dang nabbit. Okay. I am not a Digimon hater. I love Digimon. When I was younger... Oh, dang it! I went all the way back. There was always Pokemon and Digimon were kind of my go-to ones. I followed all the way through Digimon Adventure 1 and 2, and I kind of stopped there because even though it wasn't entirely satisfying, it was a definitive ending. I did watch a little bit of the one after that. I can't remember what that one's called, Tamers or... There we go. Okay, definitely a save point here. Oh, that's right, need to push forward. Oh, no, hang on. Just as a continuation of that katana question, because I got a person in chat saying he doesn't want to be an edgelord, but his favorite Pokemon includes Charizard, Scyther, and Zoroark. I'm not saying I don't want to be an edgelord. I like being an edgelord. They are my favorite Pokemon, are the edgelord Pokemon, because they're so over the top and awesome. So yeah. The problem is not with being an edgelord. The problem is kind of being cringy about it. And it's like embracing the edginess of an aesthetic you like is fine. It's one thing, but I don't know, just like swinging a fake sword around. I guess that's the limit for me. It's okay if it's not the limit for other people, but it's the limit for me. That's all. Hooray! Got through to the next level. 19 lives lost. Hooray! More tutorials. So yes, I played. So I watched Digimon. I did appreciate the fact that the plots went deeper and stuff like that. Pokemon from I remember back in the day, Pokemon was the escapist fun, whereas Digimon was kind of like kids first kind of multifaceted adventure. I remember actually getting choked up when the dang nabbit. I remember actually getting choked up when we found out about the Digimon Emperor's brother dying. I thought that was actually well done. Well, at least at the time. I don't know if I feel the same way nowadays. It was kind of like, was it, Pokemon was the fun one that it's okay to still enjoy? I mean, I'm talking about like schoolyard stuff here, dang it. On the schoolyard stuff, Pokemon was the light and fun one that it was okay to still enjoy and have fun with. But everyone knew that, you know, all the real deep stuff was a Digimon, man. That was where all talking about edgelords, that was kind of like what it's like. Was it, I'm mature, I prefer Digimon over Pokemon. And it's like, yeah. It's also kind of funny I'm talking about being an edgelord when I'm playing a was it a pixel art platformer Cthulhu thing with tons of blood all over the place. Let's see. So yeah, I did like dang it. I can move the camera around. Oh, that'll help without the with the no leap of faith thing. I like the music too. It's like a cross between Thor Ragnarok and it's just like it's like if Thor Ragnarok was set in, you know, the Cthulhu mythos, which is kind of cool when you think about it. I mean, I know the whole kind of like what if Cthulhu was cute or what if Cthulhu was fun thing has kind of been done, but I don't know, I really like kind of the idea of sort of a Cthulhu action adventure, even though I fully admit it goes completely against the idea of Cthulhu as a whole. But that's the cool thing about it. It's like Batman, you know. Batman was originally just like this pulpy, kind of like extreme version of a pulpy detective. Because he like shot people and stuff like that. He was basically just a weird version of the Shadow. But, you know, people tried different things with it. They tried being campy and over the top with them, and that was fun. That was awesome with the 60s Batman. Then you tried with the tried being dark and gritty, and that was also really fun as well. And then they went back to being fun again with Lego Batman. So, you know, you can do the same thing with the Cthulhu mythos and with cosmic horror in general. Do it with pretty much anything. And I feel like with people who say that, like, no, you can't do that, it betrays the source material, I really don't think so, because, you know, as long as people are still making the type of media that you do want to consume, it really doesn't make much difference. Yo, hey, Cartoon Gamer. I really need to get more cameos, but it's just the problem is cameos are really hard to write. That's one of the reasons. Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm going to have to get a bit more of an income doing this before I get into the movie reviews, because since cameos are very difficult to write, it would just be very. I would have to like really go super full time on it. And in order to do that, I'd need to get more of an income. That was actually an answer to an earlier question, just out of the way. Sorry about the burp. Where someone said, like, when are you going to do the Pokemon movie reviews? When I get over 1,000, and but with Patreon being what it is, we'll have to see when that happens. It's just going to have to wait and see. Hey, Dizzy Sim, that's cute. Oh, dang it, he can duck too. You know what, why am I trying to fight him? Okay, so now I can actually look down. There we go. Oh, come on, I don't have enough. I didn't have enough for a save buy. So yeah, I like Digimon. I like some of their designs. I always liked Angemon and oh shoot, which one were my favorites? I'm trying to remember. Dang it. I liked Angemon. I liked Stingmon. Let's see. Wasn't a fan of the Devils usually. Usually I'm into that kind of dark stuff, but I found their designs to be kind of overly goofy. Let's see. But anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on Digimon. Now, Jacob Sullivan says, "Would you like to play Dungeons and Dragons?" Let's see. Let's Let's see. Well, he paid for the question, so I need to read it out in full. Would you like to play some Dungeons and Dragons? I'll be the DM. You can be a half-orc rogue, and you can invite the $10 plus patrons and have guest appearances from friends. You can do it twice per month online. It'd be like Harmon Quest, but more Suede-erific. No, I actually I've seen your proposition before, Jacob. It's just more like I wasn't really able to form an opinion on it. I like the idea. I mean, I like the idea of being able to do Dungeons and Dragons again. The problem is that it's really hard for me to gather a group of friends. Yeah. I really enjoyed the Pokemon tabletop thing. The problem is that it's really hard for me to socialize. I mean, like. I got killed in the exact same spot for the exact same reason. I'll tell you what I'd really actually like to play a game of Shadowrun because I've really been getting into Shadowrun lately. Well, from the PC games. They're fast becoming one of my absolute favorite games ever, really, just from, I mean, I fully concede that there might be better written games out there. In fact, I know that there are. But this one, it's really kind of introducing me to the world of dialogue-rich computer RPGs. I mean, I tried Pillars of Eternity, and I still really, really want to keep giving it a go. But unfortunately, it's a bit too overwhelming at the moment. So, in terms of like both the dialogue and the combat system, whereas Shadowrun is one where the Shadowrun Returns games really kind of have a challenging but not overwhelming combat system. Dang it. And a stat system as well. Another thing is that I really like about Shadowrun Returns is the fact that you don't get EXP and level ups from fighting. You get them from finishing a level, basically. So it's like it doesn't matter how you finish the level. All that matters is that you do, and you can do that through non-violent means. You can do that through conversations. You can do that partly through violence, partly through somewhere else. You don't get any more or less stats at the end, except for a couple of little bonuses. If like you, except for a couple of little bonuses, if like, and what's really cool is that the bonuses are in both cases. Like if you're super violent and just massacre the entire place, you might find an extra, oh dang it, you might find an extra experience point in a place you wouldn't have been able to get to earlier. But but you can also get an extra sort of skill point. Hooray! There we go. For being able to do a really good conversation and trying to get the best of both worlds. It's just really, really well done, as I've said before. I like the low pass song. Hooray! Bye bye. Shoot. Flying place in the sun. There we go. Beautiful. Yeah. Sorry to kind of turn this into a Shadowrun thing, a Shadowrun Returns thing, because, well, yeah. Not only do I really like it, but it's also because I'm planning on kind of doing a favorite games of 2017, both top 5 I played that were released this year, and top 5 that. There we go. Both top 5 that were released this year and top 5 that I just kind of started playing. But like, yeah, I love games, I've played games, but Shadowrun's the only game I've played that actually wants me to try and make games, which is really cool. So I probably would be wanting to try the tabletop version of Shadowrun, because that is where it originally came from. Oh, come on. Dang it! Can't save near a spinning blade. There we go. Ah! So close. I mean, let's see. Like I said, the combat can be a little bit, what's the word? The combat is very XCOM and kind of based on percentages and stuff like that. It basically is just another version. Well, the combat is very much just another, is very much a form of XCOM, X-combat as it were. The kind of like grid, isometric grid-based thing. But like I said, in the game that in one that I was playing, which is Shadowrun Hong Kong, which was the last game that they released, which was a shame, but like 2 out of the 5 missions I played, I didn't get into any combat whatsoever because I dumped enough skill into my charisma, and they do a really good job of making sort of, it's not just sort of reading what the person has to say, seeing that your charisma's high enough, and then getting out of the way. I mean, getting them out of the way, that is fun, don't get me wrong, but there are other areas where like you have to really pay attention to the conversations in order to get by without shedding blood. I say as I throw Eldritch Abominations into a meat grinder. For instance, there's one that I just played recently, and if I do a top 5 games, I'll definitely be mentioning this part. There's a bit where you're feeding... Oh, dang it. There's a part where you're, what's the word? You're guiding this person through an earpiece, and that's kind of been done before, but not really in games actually. But yeah, you're guiding someone through a bad situation with an earpiece, and like they're very socially awkward, so they pretty much just say verbatim what you say, and because the time pressure is so on, they can't afford to kind of question what you're saying. And because it has to sound natural, they have to pretty much say verbatim what you say. But what's funny is that you're doing this through a hacked game console at a convention. Well, a hacked demo game console at a convention. So there's a line of people behind you, and someone kind of calls you out on taking too long. But your guy on the other end is stopped by security. So you have to pick your dialogue choices precisely so that because there's like 2 or 3 dialogue choices, you have to choose the ones that will work not only for you trying to sate the person next in line, but will also sate the security guard at the exact same time. And like, that's not just a charisma check, that's actually being clever about how you roleplay. And I just found that amazing, and I wish this game is talked about a bit more often. Anyway, enough of that. It's nearly time to stop, at least for the Q&A stream. I might stream a bit more later for fun. And if that's the case, I hope you guys will join me. But yeah, basically just join up with my Twitch. It's Twitch. It's Suede Blade. Hold up. I'll make sure to tweet it anyway. So just watch the Twitter and you'll see the stream if I do that later too. Maybe I'll stream Shadowrun. You'll be able to see a bit of what it's like. I just hope it's not too great spoilers. What did I just do? But yeah, since I'm about to, I've got about 5 minutes. I'll try to finish the level. So I'll answer some quick questions from the chat if you guys are up for it. One of the sad things is that I feel like I've really gotten rusty on my kind of streamer etiquette. I used to be pretty good at just kind of coming up with interesting things, being able to comment on the game and so forth, but I seem to have gotten worse at it. I don't know whether it's because, like, whether it's just because I've gotten rusty or whether it's because, I've gotten old. I doubt that's the case. There are people older than me who are really good at streaming, but by golly, I'm going to keep trying. Hopefully I'll get better at it. Because I remember actually playing this game not too long ago, and I was really good at just kind of commenting on it, talking to people, and kind of riffing on the game. Nowadays I have to really kind of think about what's going on. But mind you, you guys aren't here for that, you're just here for the questions to be answered. The game is pretty much incidental at this point. Ah, now that's a good question. Someone said, why are you called Suede? That's actually a question that you wouldn't normally get from the patrons either, because they know that. The funny thing is that I actually am wearing, I mean, I know it looks like I'm not, but I actually am wearing Suede in my logo, because it's based on an outfit I wore earlier. Well, it's based on an outfit that I wore for Suburban Nights, and then afterwards for the reviews where I talked to the camera. In that outfit, the one with a purple shirt and a grey tie. No, same point. Ah. That outfit, the waistcoat is Suede and the tie is Suede. Yes, I actually have a Suede tie. But where the name originally came from is a different story. What happened was, now this is a story all about how my income got turned upside down. No, okay, where should I start with it? Okay, I love Resident Evil 4. You guys should know that. It's the only one that I've done a Q&A stream on twice. Resident Evil 4 is like one of my favorite fun escapist games of all time. And I absolutely loved Leon's jacket, and I absolutely hated that there was no option to keep it, even on the New Game Plus. But yes, Leon's jacket, I love Squall's jacket, but I knew realistically it would look silly in real life. However, Leon's jacket, that was an awesome jacket that you can wear in public without people giving you sideways looks, unless, you know, you go out in the summer. I am going somewhere with this. Now, because I know Leon's jacket is leather, not suede, but there's a point to this, I swear. So yes, what happened was that I was keeping an eye out for jackets that looked like Leon from Resident Evil 4's jacket. Dang it. And one time, while I was walking through the city streets, there was a, I guess you guys would call it a thrift shop. We mainly call them either pawn shops or, yeah, we mainly call them pawn shops rather than thrift shops. But yeah, basically there was a suede jacket there that kind of looked like Leon's, and it was really, really cheap. And it was kind of one of those old 70s ones. I'm just kind of dying here because I'm recaling the story. Hopefully I'll get into a groove. So yes, there was a jacket that kind of looked like Leon's, and I was like, all right, that'll do at least. And it was really warm, so I wore that. And at this time, I was at the local community college learning about film editing and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it was any use to me, because I learned a lot more from later polytechnic education. But yes, saved. Anyway, well, I was going to school there, and that was when I got into that guy with the glasses. Except it wasn't called that guy with the glasses then. He wasn't, well, actually he was. That was what he was. He was literally that guy with the glasses. Whoa, hello. Cleaver what? What, Cleaver? Cleaver what? Cleaver? Yeah, while I was there, I would use the school computers to surf the internet, rather than work, obviously. Ow. Big old stab. Dang it, I was trying to practice my parry. If you look up and do that, you get a parry. Okay, where was I? Okay, yes, I was learning about editing at community college, and I got into Doug Walker back when he was that guy with glasses. This was before the website. He was just on YouTube, and he had a viral video about Rocky in 5 seconds, which was the very first video of his that I did. Then he did some of the Nostalgia Critic, and that was really cool. and he started getting onto that. And then what happened was that in a kind of, because he was on YouTube and he had his own little thing on YouTube doing the 5-second movies. That was the first thing that he really did. Hooray, finished. Only one. I think there's one more level after this. Well, what happened was that, you know, this DMCA takedown is not a new thing. He was gotten for copyright infringement for his 5-second movies. Dang it. And what happened was that I was like I was upset about this. I was like, this doesn't make any sense. He's giving you free advertising. He's not spoiling the movie in a big way. It's like, I don't understand why you aren't encouraging this. It is free. It is free marketing. And what I did was I put together just a tiny little YouTube video. This is back in the day when you could do video responses. I can see how that would be absolutely abused nowadays. But back in the days, you could make a video and put it below their video, below a YouTube video as a response. And so I made a response saying, "Yeah, this is stupid." And what happened was, and I was wearing the jacket while I was doing all this in kind of a webcam style. And what happened was that Doug liked it, and he replied, and he says, "That's cute." No, it wasn't. Not that's cute. It's like he liked it, and he liked my accent. And I thought, oh, that's nifty. And he said that he found it funny. And what happened was that that guy with the glasses started up. So, oh yeah, well, because he liked it, they kind of encouraged me to kind of, you know, do more funny videos. I did a couple. It's under the YouTube name. I don't know if it's been taken down now or not, because this is embarrassing. I forgot the password, and it's on an old email that I can't remember the password for either. So I can't get into my old YouTube channel. My old YouTube channel was named Arasath. I did a couple of things, like one called "They're Having an Evangelion Moment," where there are bits in anime where I just kind of add an awkward pause like they did in Evangelion. And I also did a I can't remember what else. And I also did Evangelion in 5 seconds, which has got over 250,000 views, but I don't have access to it. It's hilarious. And a couple of AMVs, because, you know, early internet, nearly everyone was doing AMVs. What happened was that on that channel, hang on. Actually, I don't know where I was going with that whole YouTube channel thing. But basically what happened was, that guy with the glasses wanted to start up a website. Dang it. That guy with the glasses.com. And what happened was, there was, it was just his stuff. But there was also this section called the blog section, where you could just upload whatever you want. And basically, it's just kind of like it was meant to be sort of a discussion thing where you could just kind of like put your own thing, and people can look at it and go, "Oh, that's cool." And there was just kind of this built-in audience of people that like the kind of stuff that Doug did. And so I put up a topple, just like a rip-off of the Nostalgia Critic, and proud of it was literally how I sold myself. I said, "Hi, I'm Suede, I'm a rip-off of the Nostalgia Critic, and I am proud of it." That was my catchphrase to begin with. But I was kind of like the anime version, because I really like Cowboy Bebop, and there was a lot of anime that I was into. I wouldn't have called myself like a hardcore fan, but I was definitely really into it. So I did the top 11 anime openings of recent times. And I kind of did it in Nostalgia Critic style, and it got a good response. I actually put it up twice. I'm not sure if that was like illegal bumping or not, but yeah. Basically what happened was I got an email. It just kind of happens sometimes. I got an email from Rob, I think, and he was basically like, "Hey, that was really funny. Do you want to like be a special producer?" And I was like, sure, absolutely. I remember there was a bit of a backlash because it was both me and Benzai got approached at the same time. I think I was first, but Benzai came soon after that. But leading all the way up to the answering of your question, the reason why I was that dude in the Suede, because that was the thing at the beginning. I said, hi, I'm that dude in the Suede. I'm a rip-off of the Nostalgia Critic and I'm proud of it, because I was wearing the same jacket that the same jacket that I wore when I did that response video in the beginning. So where they said, "Hey, was it? You're kind of funny. You're kind of funny. Thanks for your support." So what I did was that I wore that same jacket so that they would recognize me and and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, he's that guy that helped us out." So that way they'd kind of, you know, throw me a bit more attention. You know, notice me, senpai, all that kind of thing. And so yeah, not only was I that dude in the Suede because it's like, oh, I need a hook, I'm wearing this jacket, that's kind of weird, I'm that dude in the Suede. But it was also more like, hey, you guys, remember me? I'm that dude in the Suede that stood up for you that one time and made that funny video. And that's what stuck. I kept going. I was that dude in the Suede for ages. I had to go away on my mission. And so when I came back, I didn't want it to be sort of that kind of like that someone in the something, you know. I mean, that jerk with the camera was able to do it, although he's mainly known as Tony Goldmark these days. He kept going with it, but it was almost like a thing. I mean, like, I remember one time I was on the chat and they suggested it's like, there should be like an MMO where everyone is that something in the something. And because, you know, there was that chick with the goggles, there was me. It was kind of a thing. It was kind of a thing in the early days of that guy with the glasses. So I was that dude in the Suede, which was basically that guy with the glasses for anime. Well, at least that's how it started out. Nowadays, that guy with the glasses for anime has definitely been at the Sage, and that's interesting in itself because he was kind of noticed by the devs for calling me out for not providing a link for the AMVs that I reviewed to the original source. He was right to call me out on that, but because of that, it was partly because of that he got noticed as well. But anyway, yeah, and then, you know, but when I came back from my mission, that had all kind of died down, and it kind of seemed like a bit of a try-hard move to still be called that dude in the Suede, so I just kind of simplified it to just being Suede. And so yeah, and it also helps that, yeah, I do like Suede. I like Suede as a material. It's very nice. That is the story, boys and girls, about how Suede got his name. It's mainly due to liking Resident Evil and wanting Senpai to notice you. Oh, cool. RSF, the channel still exists. The problem is, it's like, yeah, I could... sorry, not an ANV, an AMV. Anime music video. Those were really big back in the early 2000s. Like, everybody would just kind of like get Linkin Park music, throw it on Dragon Ball Z videos. Because what was cool about AMVs is that they were dramatic enough, is that anime was dramatic enough that you could put a cool music on it and it would make really good background music. But it was also goofy enough that you could do lip sync music videos as well, and it would be really kind of awesome. I was kind of proud of my Evangelion AMV that I did back in the day. That's still up there if RSF the channel still exists. I mean, I'd kind of like to get back to just kind of, you know, take control of the channel again, but I'd have to go into the whole support and everything like that. So. And even though that video has like 250,000 hits, I still won't have gotten any money off it because it wasn't monetized. Yeah. Linkin Park became like, one of the reasons I think Linkin Park became like the poster child for edgelord, even though
they were way more sincere than a lot of like 90% of the other edgelord stuff, like Good Charlotte or A Simple Plan, that kind of stuff. They stood out because they were like really sincere about it, and I think that kind of translated into the into anime very well as well, because everyone in anime is always really sincere about it as well. So it was, yeah, Dragon Ball Z mixed with Linkin Park was always a thing back in the day. It was the stereotype. I mean, there was always tons and tons of really good anime music videos, but yeah, that was one of the reasons why I did that short-lived series AMV Heaven, which was about all of the different really good stuff. Oh, I'm doing fine, Dakana, and and I'm sorry, but I'm afraid you've just caught the tail end. I'm just about to finish this live stream. I might do a bit more. I need to do some work for a bit, but and for the moment, I'm just going to have to stop here. Thank you guys for watching me destroy lots of blood and go through my entire YouTube life story. Let's see. Hopefully there'll be some good new questions next week. I was able to get a backlog done, so you can actually watch next week's episode of Pokemon Journey now if you sign up to Patreon. I still don't know what the deal is with the Patreon fees debacle, so just join up and we'll see what happens when and we'll make changes if and when the actual change is meant to happen, which is later on in the month. So thanks y'all for coming in. I'll see if I can get a better time for it. But oh, good timing! I've just got a phone call. Thanks you guys for joining in, and I'll see you guys in the next stream.